Hello, welcome, benvino. Hola, ¿qué tal? How are you
Good
doing
morning.
today, Kim?
I'm great. How are you, Rachel?
Whew, I am out of my mind. I am
Mm.
going wackadoodle. Welcome, everyone, to the 2022 wormhole of transition.
Mm.
Ooh. Wow, what a crazy time. Chaos is grabbing every last straw that it can to try to exist on this plane. Things are happening so quickly, so fast. This 10-year energy burst is wow. All right, so let's just back up here for a second. Welcome to Way Chill Living. I'm Rachel Otto, and this is my dear friend Kim. We are here today to discuss this massive transition into divine love that we are feeling at this moment. We have entered into a wormhole of 2022. Now, every astrologer and everyone has a different concept, but let's just stick with the concept that there was a eclipse on November 19th, 2021 that set off this massive transition. And within this massive transition, there were two lunar eclipses in the United States. This is the year that the United States is in Pluto, which means it's time for it to decide if it wants to come together or if it really wants to explode and separate. So, this is a massive
Oh.
chaotic time. Ironically, many people thought that all of this transition was going to take place in 2012, but the energy has been building every 10 years. And so now we're 10 years from that 2012 energy. I can't even imagine what 2032 is going to feel like because this transition right now is ginormous. So let's just talk about our own personal lives right now. Let's see if we can find any examples of massive changes and transition within ourselves. Kim, is there anything going on in your life that you're feeling twisted, conflicted, or have a different perspective now than you did, say, 3 months ago?
Actually, even 3 months ago, a month ago, I have more clarity about some things now. But at the same time, what's happening is that I'll be, my mood shift. I don't know necessarily, and besides the stuff that I have on my own plate, sometimes what's going on is all, and then there's a moment of clarity and things that I thought about and kind of felt that I knew, all of a sudden I actually know. It's like, the feeling like you suddenly have a knowing. It's like, well, I always believed this, thought about it, made sense, but all of a sudden, I know this. And you who do you explain that to? Well, I know this now. You know what I mean? Because I am not a spiritualist like you are, right? I'm not a practitioner. But so I've had that. I've had my relationships, my very close relationships change. Some of them have changed. Like just yesterday, something happened with someone, with my husband, in fact, that I thought I would never. I'd given up hope on having that experience, hearing that communication from this person, and all of a sudden, I was literally like, that startled that startled like, whoa, I can't believe this is happening. It changed my breathing. My breathing changed because I've been saying for weeks how my breathing, I feel a lot of it in my chest and in my in my throat. But all of a sudden I was breathing from my diaphragm, which I do not do, which is, that's one of the issues I don't do. But it's like, whoa, my whole being, my whole body went into just this whole other state that I realized it hasn't been in a long time. Such a long time that I'd even forgotten that it could be that I could breathe from my diaphragm. Anyway, that just
That's
happened
huge.
yesterday. That just
Yeah.
happened yesterday evening, in fact. So
Oh,
I have to say that I feel like a new person really right now. Woohoo.
I love this.
Mhm,
It is another transitional time.
mhm,
So some of us may be forced out of our homes. I'm not the only one that I know that's moving right now. I have
mhm,
about 4 different acquaintances or friends or people that I love that are all moving
mhm,
or trying to find new locations. There is a big shift in, of course, in what it is that you do. You know, last year America started walking away from its jobs, and
mhm,
I believe it's because it's time for happiness to rule. And if
mhm,
you're not happy at the work that you do, what are you doing it for?
mhm,
I mean, there's a 100 million different ways to make an existence to live. And I know for a fact that there is something out there that makes you happy, that you love to do, that you can make money or make a living, especially that you're not harming another person in any way whatsoever. I'm kind of big on that. I just don't like people hurting each other. So this chaos of this energy, we can actually use it to our advantage. And Kim, you made my heart swell because you used it to your advantage. You didn't get afraid of it. And what is happening is that people are getting afraid of it. Who are the people getting afraid of it? Well, these little lies like replacement theory, instead of becoming one with everyone, they believe that they're becoming replaced. Boy, these lies are heavy and deep. The facade that we have original sin, that we are born as bad. I mean, there's a million things. In fact, almost anything that you thought was normal and concepts that you were
mhm,
given are now irrelevant and are now unuseful in life. Um, Another example of something that's completely unuseful in your life: judgment,
mhm,
categorizing people. I had a great download yesterday of I was talking to a really cool cat. Okay, my new friend is her name is Bast, and she's an Egyptian goddess. And we were talking about humanity and what's going on here, and she still can't understand why we have so many sexual problems, why sex has been so vilified, and when it's supposed to be such a beautiful thing, and that our bodies are creations of God and of the universe, and how these rules and laws have created all of our sexual dysfunctions that we have. And when we actually step away from saying, your body is bad and sex is evil, and we vilify it, we actually can rejoice in our bodies. We can identify with who we are and not give ourselves a gender. Do you understand that gender is judgment? You don't need to identify any style of who you are.
mhm.
It's about being your unique substance, about being your unique history and coming together as one.
Sorry.
So we are learning. Oh, that's pretty, nice and white. We're learning how to just exist as ourselves, and understanding things like sex and being naked or whatever. It's not evil. It's not the death of things, but instead, why, it's a brilliant part of living, and we get to be more joyful now. So, in saying all of this in this time of transition, because we are still living in a third dimensional world, I'm humbly asking everyone to take their actions of love to create a space of love. Things that we need to physically do in this time right now to create a space of love is and this isn't a judgment statement, this is a action of love statement, but we need to start doing background checks on guns. We need to find ways of putting a control mechanism on violent ways so that we can live together peacefully. Because in the time of chaos, you can't just like drastically change stuff as much as I want to, and you and I are changing.
Hmm.
The whole world, the people, they're not they're not mentally capable and ready, but we can take steps to protect ourselves and to protect the love and let the love grow. So I really want people to love themselves right now and take these actions of love to create a loving environment around you, because we are getting ready to create an amazing future. So we haven't even hit the big chaos yet. And I don't mean to sound negative or foreshadowing, but it's going to get hot this summer. And when it gets hot, Mother Nature gets sassy. So she's going to have fires, she's going to have hurricanes, and she's going to have to bitch slap us again to wake us up so that we can actually grab each other's hands and help each other. What I've learned is that unfortunately it's only through natural disasters or massive trauma that people actually step out of their judgment, they step out of their closed doors of their society, and they open up to each other when they have to. And that's why Mother Nature keeps shaking us up, is because, well, one, we're at dis-ease with ourselves, and she also knows that this is one way that we can communicate with each other and help each other. So, in this time of transition, it's really important to take care of you. So, Kim, are you taking a lot of baths? Are you taking a lot of naps? Are you eating your favorite foods? Are you exercising?
Oh,
Are you doing good things for Kim?
I am not. Like I like to think I am, but I'm really not. There's some stuff that I've been putting off doing that I will not be at ease until I've done it. What I do find, in my experience with what I was talking about yesterday, and excuse my video because it is behind my audio. Uh, but that I also had a surge of power, and I realized, that saying that we're afraid of how powerful we are, and I realized, yes, I could see why, because we are, all of a sudden I became aware of the fact that we are very powerful. These are not just words, a saying, whatever. It's like, holy cow. So the moment is here. So, use our powers for good, obviously. But I understand what you're saying about those great natural, I don't want to say, the D word, but these natural events, that are taking place, because that is what it takes to shake us up. And we need shaking up right now. Um, and with regard to what you were talking about with our issues like in Texas and across the country, really and truly, Texas most recently, but across the country, is that we're going through this transition right now, which change is always pretty much always painful in some aspect. And so, to minimize the damage, to minimize the effects or the distraction, um, yeah, we have to. It's just common sense to me about the gun issue. It's like, while people are going crazy, it's like, let's not give them tools to, you know, be reckless. So that just seems like common sense to me. Also, because, yeah, as I might have said before, I'm first generation American. I wasn't brought up with parents who are from gun culture, so gun culture still seems like mental illness to me. So but anyway, yes, we are, those of us who are conscious, who are aware that there's a change going on, in the big picture, not just with our government or our landlords or what or our banks or whatever, but in the big picture of existence for this planet anyway. That feeling of power may seem daunting, but it's just time to embrace it. So that's what, embrace it in love and not in fear. But
Perfect.
um,
Yes. So how can we tell our viewers, our watchers, how
mhm,
to exist in this transition? And that's the first one is don't get caught up in the fear of it.
mhm,
Don't get caught up in the anxiety of it. I could very, very easily sit and watch one of the news stations and go into that spiral of depression.
mhm,
But instead, I choose to stand up and walk away, and let my partner watch the news because that's what they like to do. So that's
mhm,
cool. And instead, I'll go for a walk or I'll go sit and meditate or find something else to do. I wrote a post and I'm going to reiterate it too because it's another way to help us during this time of transition. Okay, this is the big one. Are you ready?
mhm.
You can't help anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, and that just sounds like such an awful thing for
Mhm,
compassionate divine love gal
mhm,
here to say. But it's this really strong understanding that we
mhm,
cannot change anyone. Now,
mhm,
if you have a friend that comes to you and says, "Hey, I really need your help with this," of course you want to listen and you want to process and you want to share and communicate.
mhm,
But there's a bunch of friends and people that we also need to disconnect with, and that they're no longer for our highest good in our life. So when we have, say, family members who maybe politically completely disagree with you,
mhm,
at this point in your life, we have to understand we're not changing each other's opinions.
mhm.
And all I can do is send you love. And if they don't want to accept it, then they don't. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But that's the only action that you can take for others is to just love them. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying to sit there and get beat and say I love you while you're getting beat. No, if you
Right.
are getting physically hurt in any way whatsoever, you have to get away. And that's not love. I'm
Mm,
sorry to say this right now. If
mhm,
somebody physically hits you and says that they're doing it because they love you, it is not love. It is a physical abuse, and that is a situation that you need to remove yourself from.
mhm. As well as emotional abuse, because that's not love either. Like, I'm doing this for your
Exactly.
own good. I'm making you feel like crap for your own good. No,
No.
what I mean. It doesn't work that way. I don't think.
But if you're in a conversation and you're with a friend or a family member who gets red in the face and they get so angry because they are so adamant about their point, and even if it's a violent point, even if it's a lie, even if it's something that we know is harmful, we just have to listen. We just have to listen.
Because it's really their thing.
It's their
It's
thing
their
because if
journey.
you try to fight against it, it's just gonna attack you and make you feel worse. If you try to even say, anything at all, they'll throw you implants and fear and anger and anxiety, and they're gonna bust your bubble. And instead, you just have to learn, this is from my other good friend, Kim Bruce. She taught me how to do this, and this took me 3 years to learn. So this is a great thing to do. You ready? Okay. So you're at your family's house and they're talking about a topic that you're very pro and they are very con, and they're looking at you to give you to really they're trying to poke at you, right? So this is what you do. Okay, you ready? That's interesting. I, that's your perspective. I understand. Oh, Yes, that's what you believe. I see how that is true for you. That's it. I'm telling you, folks, it works. You don't have to agree. You don't have to support. You just say, that's your perspective. And you acknowledge them. We're not denying this is their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You acknowledge, okay, you're not agreeing. You're just saying, okay, that's your perspective. I understand. You're listening, so you're not belittling them.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, after about 5 minutes, they get so frustrated talking to you that they just stop talking about it and they pick another topic. And that's all that you really want. Because I don't have a breath to get into a fight with my father about background checks and gun control.
Mm-hmm.
I, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. But I can listen to what he believes and let him speak his truths. So I'm not accepting their ways. I'm staying true to myself and I'm taking a non-violent response back
Mm-hmm.
because that is what this transition is trying to teach us.
Yeah.
We do not need to take violent actions anymore. We do not need to go stand up and slap somebody. We do not need to take a hammer and beat them down.
Mm-hmm. We don't need
We
to be rams.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
We really have to stop and think about a different way to communicate things. Do you know even the angels are telling me that we have to look at our elements in a different way?
Mm.
That the elements on earth, that we have to stop thinking about fire as burning and destruction,
Uh-huh.
but instead think of it as a light of inspiration and
Mm-hmm.
a source of change. That was a hard one for me. They're trying to get me to stop saying burn things and flames, and they want me to use the word like light and enlightenment
Mm.
and energy, because apparently flames don't exist out in past Earth.
Really? What do they call then? What is the violet consuming
Flame.
flame? Yes.
Yeah, this is a great example of this new transitional energy. So
Mm.
Zadikiel is the angelic being that carries the violet flame.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also taught about the Saint Germain's light, which is that
Mm-hmm.
ultraviolet flame. And before that, when I was a little kid, we used to call it the Holy Spirit.
Oh.
So this ultraviolet light or flame is a protection bubble. I am now re-changing even my own meditations because I
Mm.
always called it the violet flame, and even learned in Reiki how that violet flame is supposed to come down and through your system and you lock it in so that you can build up the power.
Mm-hmm.
I sat down with Zadikiel and Zadikiel says, yeah, it's not a flame, it's a light. It's a vibrational energy.
Mm.
And yes, it looks like a flame, just like it looks like angel wings. Do you know
Mm-hmm.
that we make our angel wings?
Yes,
Even
that's a
I
light.
say angel
Yes,
wings.
actually, yes, but that's a light.
It's a
That
light.
yeah.
It's an energy. And the wings were actually drawn on the art form to show flight.
Yes, because actually, my mother, in fact, told me that probably like 20 years ago. She said because if you think about it, um, why do angels need wings? Really and truly, I was literally saying to somebody yesterday that we can teleport ourselves. We just don't know that we're doing, and it's a scary thing to think about being able to do. But it's like there are no wings required. It's just the thought of being there. So those what might appear to be wings is actually light emanating out from. Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So let's just try to change our language.
Mhm.
When we're talking spiritually, instead of saying the burning or the flames of Archangel Michael, let's try
Mhm.
to say the energy or the light,
Mhm.
because flames and fire have a violent connotation that we're trying to walk away from. We're trying to walk away from violence.
Mm.
I know that sounds crazy, but there's two things in my lifetime that I would love to see dissolve away, and that's violence and money.
Mm.
And they actually go hand in hand with each other,
Mm.
and with everything else.
Mhm.
So this wormhole isn't so much about money. I think that's going to be the next 10-year. This wormhole is really about divine love for the self
Mm.
and understanding to find new ways of living that are non-violent. I mean, this is the time that, Martin Luther King, his message is growing within me,
Mhm.
this time of compassionate living. If we go back to even Jesus Christ's original words and Mary Magdalene's original words, it's about living in compassionate consciousness.
Mhm.
And in this space of ultimate knowledge, of ultimate compassion, is just, it's beautiful. It's unlimited. It's amazing.
Mhm.
So that's the goal. But right now, we're we're in the chaos, right? So one of the ways that we talked about is being kind to yourself. If you get tired, take a nap. If you're hungry, eat your favorite foods.
Mm.
And just a little note about when I say eat your favorite foods, sometimes our favorite foods are not the healthiest items. So instead of feeling guilty, make sure that all you have to do is hold it up and bless it. Be grateful for the food. Ask for it to be your highest good. And then it's not going to give you stomach problems, and it's also not going to hold on the weight.
Mm.
So don't feel guilty. Enjoy that moment, right? It's not like you have to eat gelato every night, but
No.
if you're going to have it,
Mm.
enjoy it and bless it.
Yes,
So eat your
exactly. If
favorite
you're doing it, you
foods.
might as well enjoy it because
Take
that's better for
naps.
your body as well. Mhm.
Relax, go for walks, tell people no. Focus on yourself right now.
Mhm.
Dream of what it is that you love to do. If your job is really just overbearing and it's too much, it's time to dream of a new passion, even if that means by starting and volunteering in something that you love.
Mhm.
If it's something that you love and you start volunteering in it, mark my words, you will find a way that they'll end up paying you to do it and it will
Mhm.
become your new job.
Mhm.
So, transition time. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, learn to say no. Take an extra moment before you start to defend yourself because it may not even be worth your energy. It might
Mhm.
just be easier to nod your head and say, I understand your perspective and I understand that. But
Mhm.
it's not worth your energy right now to defend your beliefs. Instead, love your beliefs and love who you are and take other action steps. Call your representatives. Uh,
Mm.
if
Things will
you
actually make a
if
difference.
you like to protest, then make a sign. If you would rather not do that, but maybe financially support an organization of your personal beliefs, then do that. But you don't have to do anything except for love who you are. And this may not be a bad summer to stay low. Of course, the pandemic's over and we're free to go about and do whatever we want. But maybe you do things that are more intimate for yourself or for your family. Maybe you don't have to do the big wow loud things this year because everybody wants to do big loud wow. And maybe you find more peaceful projects that actually help amplify your house. Maybe you do something where you build something in your backyard or start a new garden.
Have the big loud wow internally. Have your own personal big loud wow. Because for me, that's what's happening. So I realize, oh, it doesn't really matter what's going on around you, actually. Because in the midst of chaos, you can have that big loud great wow inside of you. And so that's what we're doing right now, is working on ourselves, doing the complete inside work, inside job.
And unfortunately, this wackadoodle wormhole that we're in, this up and down, really does not totally end until November 8th. We
Mm.
just passed through the hardcore part of it
Mm-hmm.
um, as of this past new moon in the black moon
Okay.
the other day. Again, when you watch this view, it doesn't matter any time or space. Uh, you could be watching this in 2023 and you can be thinking back to the crazy energy. And you
Mm-hmm.
might be watching this in 2032 when the energy is just as
Mm-hmm.
wackadoodle as it is now, this 10-year burst
Oh,
of us to transition, to move forward. And it's just to move forward in love, because that's all we want. We want you to love yourself.
love
We
yourself.
want the world to love itself, and watch what a beautiful, beautiful place the world becomes
Mm-hmm.
when we find that love within us. Well,
Absolutely.
I'm grateful to be here today, Kim. Thanks for showing up. Any other closing statements you have about this wormhole of 2022 that we're in?
No, not right now. Just continue on. Now that you know it's there, just, give yourself a break. If you're feeling weird, recognize, okay, it's not just you, it's something going on for everyone. So with that knowledge, that should actually make it easier to go through. You know,
Let's do.
yeah.
Well, this is Rachel Otto, and
Kim Mello.
we're here at Way Chill Living. We invite you to subscribe, follow us, uh, check out a session. You can do a private session with me anytime at waychilllife.com, sound baths, or if you just want to chat about the unknown. We look forward to having you back here.
Mhm.
Check us out anytime at YouTube and follow us on Instagram.
Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.